Well, a very warm welcome to the March 2025 edition of our Market Wrap. Let's give you a bit of an insight into what took place over the last 30 days. There has been a lot of real estate news in the media. There's been a number of things that have been pertinent to both the Glen Eira and the Bayside City Councils. The first and foremost being that the regulations for development have now changed. As of April 1, there's two significant things that have changed if you are looking to develop a block here in Glen Eira or in Bayside. It used to be a 50% site coverage, meaning you could only build on 50% of the total land component. That has now been bumped up to a 60% site coverage. In conjunction with that, you're actually also allowed to have a 6 metre setback. It used to be between 8 and 10 metres. Now it is only 6 metres. What that means for you as somebody that maybe owns a home or a block of land in these postcodes means that the smaller blocks of land, those 580 to 600 square metre blocks, will now become more valuable because the component of land that you can build on is a lot larger in size. It definitely means that you'll see a lot bigger townhouses being built on much smaller blocks. And obviously for you as somebody that owns land, that's certainly a good thing in terms of pricing. The next thing that means is developers will be able to build on a lot smaller parcels of land. So again, the prices of those smaller blocks will go up and the sizes of townhouses that are being built will also go up. Another really important piece of information is that as of today, the 1st of April, April Fool's Day, foreign investment laws have now changed. The federal government is responding to home buyers' feedback, and that is it is more and more difficult to secure a home because of foreign investment here in Australia. So today, the ban basically includes temporary residents studying or working in Australia, as well as foreign-owned companies. If you're a foreign investor, you are only now allowed to buy brand new homes. According to the latest data available from the ATO, there were 5,360 real estate purchases made by foreign individuals between July 2022 and June 2023. This actually represents only 1% of the 538,861 national home transactions in that period of time, and only 1/3 of the 5,360 were actually established homes. Now, this might surprise some of you who believe that offshore buyers are actually snapping up a lot more property than what they really are here in Melbourne. What that says to me is a lot of the capital growth that we've had is vastly by immigration and actually not from foreign buyers. We did, however, see in March finally an uptick in confidence, but also an uptick in 0.4% of capital growth across Melbourne, ending a 10-month streak of home values falling here in Melbourne. There has been a call for an election that is coming up. However, I'm speaking to a lot of people at the moment saying, will that change things dramatically? Whether you're Labor, whether you're Liberal, they have said that no rules in terms of negative gearing will be changed. So that will have an effect on the positive real estate market. However, just this morning in the news, they did mention that the 3% stress test that mortgage lenders use to work out whether or not you're eligible for a mortgage, if Peter Dutton gets in, that will be something that he will look to abolish. That will mean that you have greater lending ability. It means that property prices will eventually go up. And it certainly means that buyer confidence, consumer confidence will certainly rise throughout 2025. If you couple that with a couple more rate cuts, hopefully, we'll certainly see a more buoyant real estate market in 2025. Now, over March's first 3 weekends, the actual Real Estate Institute of Victoria, the REIV, recorded more than 1,700 auctions. 1,104 of those properties were sold, 775 of those were sold at auction, and 286 of those were passed in. Now, 323 of those properties, that's a very important metric, were actually sold before auctions, with 6 of those properties selling after auction. The clearance rate was actually quite high. It was an average of 84.5%, with 829 homes sold privately. Now, March had 1,023 auctions on the first weekend. Then obviously the next weekend was Labor Day weekend. That dropped just to 280 auctions that weekend. And we had over 405 auctions on the third weekend, which was Grand Prix weekend. What that says to me is long weekends, buyers do what most people do, and that is shut down their real estate plans and they go away for the long weekend. So if you are planning an auction at any point over April, there are a couple of long weekends sprinkled through this month, so please feel free to avoid those time slots. Topping the charts was number 12 Bevan Street in Ormond. That was a home that took a little while to sell. It sold after auction. It actually had a failed campaign with another agent. That was a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home on 621 square metres of land, and that property sold for $2,285,000 in the McKinnon School Zone. Next was actually an incredible result for a townhouse. It was number 59A Barrington Street in Bentley East. This one was a cut above the rest. It was a very, very unique townhouse. It was beautiful internally, sitting on 380 square metres of land. And that property transacted at auction with competitive bidding for $2,210,000. Next was number 40A Mail Street in Brighton, the perfect downsizer property. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a double lock-up garage. And that property sold prior to auction for $1,910,000. Next was number 18 Pascal Street, an 806 square metre block with a 3-bedroom, a quite modest 3-bedroom home on that property, and that sold after auction for $1.9 million. Next was another hotly contested auction. We don't have many of those at the moment, but this one had 6 bidders, and that was 345 McKinnon Road in Bentley East. A Tudor-style-esque property, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms on only 567 square metres of land, and that property sold really competitively for $1,891,000. If you need my help or advice throughout 2025, feel free to call me anytime, and I look forward to seeing you next month at our next Market Wrap.